In a world where not wearing a mask on Halloween is scarier than wearing one. In a world where Halloween candy is delivered in bulk on Amazon Prime. We are experiencing a new kind of Halloween, which is why today on Open Loops, Tim Seitz joins me as we hypnotize someone from across the globe to channel an interdimensional space being. Can you handle it? You're going to need to toss out all your candy corn for this episode because it's a terrible candy. Choose something else. It's Open Loops, conversations that bend. I consider it an affront to my family that you haven't heard about Anchor. It's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain, okay? Let me just lay this out for you. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And get this, okay? Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money, moolah, from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Open loops. Open loops. Open loops. Open loops. Open loops. You must listen to the open loops, a theme park for absurd beliefs and systems of integration between the mind and the creative spirit. Open loops.
Happy Halloween, everybody. This, to me, is peak Open Loops. You are here because you are looking to go on a brain bender. You want to go on a mind trip, but you have no destination. Your intellect and your imagination, they love playing, but there's a special theme park, a theme park for the fringe, the taboo, the alternative thought. It's all here. It's Open Loops, conversations that bend. I'm your host, Greg Bornstein. Timothy Seitz, Tim Seitz, the happy hypnotist. He joins me on a very special Halloween episode as we speak to an alien. That is correct. He told me, Greg, would you like to speak to an interdimensional space being? And I said, absolutely. That's what you're going to get on this episode. Lena Marie is someone that works alongside Tim, has been trained by Tim in hypnosis, and happens to be a very, very good hypnotic subject. I'm excited for you to hear this episode because it shows you the power of hypnosis. I've talked about it since the beginning. I believe that what hypnosis is able to do is tap into something. It's the only thing that actually is like you can guide the imagination. It's the closest thing I found to being actually able to guide it, open your brain up and direct it in a way. It's a gateway. It's a portal. This episode, you get to go through the portal and see what happens when somebody gets to channel an entity that isn't them from another galaxy. We started talking, actually, before Tim got on the interview. I started talking to Lena Marie, so there's a little bit of context missing. She was telling me about how Tim helped her out therapeutically, and then beginning of the conversation, Tim and I go into a little shop talk, a little stuff about hypnosis and things that could work, and sort of therapeutic tools and all this stuff. And then it just really goes off into the strange quickly. Tim goes off into the strange pretty quickly. It's why I consider him a friend. Both of us were trained under the great Justin Trance, who, despite that name, um, you might be like, Justin Trance, come on, nah. He is probably arguably, he would argue it, and I would have to say it's seems to be true, the most successful stage or perhaps hypnotist on the planet. Tim and I were very lucky to be trained by him. He is awesome. He hypnotized people that believe they never could be. I hope to have him on sometime. But my introduction to Justin and his ways was really through Tim. Tim lives in Brooklyn. I live in Brooklyn. And I love hanging out with him. I love his insight. We're going to have Tim on for another episode to talk more about his approach to hypnosis and some of the ideas he has. But this episode is such a special time because no other podcast, at least that I'm aware of, is tapping into other dimensions to actually speak to beings from them. So I'm super excited to share this with you. If you enjoy Open Loops, please do rate, subscribe on Apple iTunes, rate it, leave a review so we can keep talking to all the other beings in the galaxy. I really appreciate your feedback. You are the reason this show can keep existing. So, any kind words you can say, greatly appreciate it. I wish all of you a wonderful listening experience to this. I hope it fits into your Halloween season. Enjoy Tim Seitz and Lena Marie and Emily. So I have Tim Seitz, the happy hypnotist, and I guess one of his mentees. And I don't even know. How would you describe Lena Marie, Tim?
Oh, well, she's my office manager. She helps me get organized. On the disc profile, I'm a low C, so having
Oh,
Lena around is very
gotcha.
helpful.
Gotcha. Yeah, and you've worked with her. We were just talking a little bit about before this interview started. First of all, thank you both for being on the show. I always forget to thank my guests, but thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Lena Marie was telling me a little bit about, how she came to you with stuff involving her father, and you like really modified the voices in her head to be much more acceptable and even slightly comedic.
Yeah, I think I was inspired by that through before I even studied hypnosis, I had read Infinite Power, the Tony Robbins book.
Oh yeah.
And when he talks about modalities and it goes into NLP and how in the audio modality, you have the voices that are in your head, and how they affect you emotionally. And by changing a powerful or strong influential voice in your head to what I usually do is that of a child.
Right.
Because all of us at heart are children. You know what I mean? We still have that part of ourselves inside of us. And we revert to it when we lose our cool, when we lose our adult sheen, or that shell of adulthood.
Totally.
And the kid comes out. You see what that little kid is like, and there are all sorts of different little kids. But when someone else has an impact on you, when you're able to change your perspective and reframe and see that person like as a child, as someone who's crying out because they're in pain.
Yes.
Not because you did anything, but because that's the state that they're in, and they're just taking it out on you because you're closest to them.
Yeah.
Lena, if I can share, I think you had said that your father had even admitted to you that he took it out on you because your mother was too strong. So he had to take it out on you. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
So clearly, this isn't her actions causing him to respond in the way that he did. He was
Mm.
taking his emotional damage out on her and even admitted it, but it doesn't do shit for her, really,
Right, right.
But when she can understand that he's not this powerful figure, but this, abused child, you know, it changes the frame. It changes the perspective and the way that you feel. And as a very sympathetic person, Lena can, feel for the baby as opposed to being scared by the adult,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. It makes me think, Tim, and I know we definitely have a reason that you're on today because we're gonna get to some interdimensional. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. But just to sort of talk at the level that we often talk about in when we're talking like hypnosis shop talk, it
Right.
makes me wonder if, I mean. It's interesting. Like I feel like someone could develop a modality of hypnosis that is like it's content free. So what that means for the audience is that like you don't actually have to bring up the specific thing that happened. But like,
Right.
what if you could just bring people in and just like before they told you anything, like just give them a full scale like shift about how they could view their parents? Do you think that would like address a lot of symptoms? I feel like maybe there is a modality I'm not thinking of, but like just like a parent reframe, because at the end of the day, it seems like it's such a powerful thing. Now, what makes it uniquely powerful is the individual work you do with that. Like you can't just be like, your parents are people, they have issues too, da 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 da, without like really
Right.
getting into
Right.
what's
Right.
specifically there. But it does make me wonder about like approach wise, if there is like, hypnotists are always looking for the silver bullet. Like I wonder if there is
Well,
something to
it's
that.
it's funny you say that because did you ever play I did since I was like 12 years old. Did you ever play Dungeons and Dragons?
I actually, a lot of people think I have, but I've never actually played it. But I know of it. I have a lot of friends that are into it.
As an improv expert or master, I think you should. I think you should try it because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And there are two basic roles in D&D in that there's the player where you're experiencing the story and you're going through it, you're improvising, you're going with what your character is. So it's a great actor's tool.
Mm.
And then a great hypnotist tool is being the dungeon master, where you're now you can play pre-made dungeons and campaigns and things like that are written for you, but most DMs write a lot of their own stuff.
Right.
So you're an author and a storyteller, and you're telling stories in the second person, which really is hypnosis. Okay.
Totally.
So I had been told by a coach that I should develop a way to use my hypnosis and my role-playing skills together.
Absolutely.
And I actually am doing that in a way of, and I'm almost trying to not call it hypnosis or NLP because there's so much like loaded up with that.
Totally. Absolutely agree.
And
people
like,
think they're signing up for a specific thing, and it's like it's got baggage. It does.
Right. Major. Okay. So this is really a new form of virtual reality.
Oh my
that
gosh.
is done by the brain. Okay. And I created a programming language for it that like it's similar to hypnosis in some ways and NLP and different things like that, but it's its own thing. And I call it IMHD. Okay. Which means inner mind high definition. Okay. That's meaning one. Okay.
Yes.
You'll love this for open loops because it has multiple meanings. Okay.
Yes. This is great.
Meaning number two is literally I myself, am, HD. I am the highest definition. My brain is the highest receiver and transmitter.
Oh, this is
Okay.
great. I'm loving this.
All right.
Okay.
Now, here you're going to love this, the cherry on top.
Yes, keep it coming.
IMHD is also the inspirations for the concept that help you understand it. The movies and TV shows that inspired it.
Mm.
Inception.
Oh my gosh.
The Matrix, M. Okay.
Yes.
HD holodeck.
Tim, what is going? I mean, you have to get on this. You got to patent this immediately, or get the copyright, trademark immediately.
Yeah. It's my whole thing of like I started it like 8 to 10 years ago when I like first learned hypnosis from Igor Ledachowski.
Yes.
And I just have been developing it since then, and like little pieces of it. But now I have this like I'm making the Apple. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
It's a new computer. It's a new like home computer, a new like software, hardware system that people can use to role play, to do like amazing new therapy, like role play therapy. So
that makes sense.
So all you need to do for like what you're talking about is have a scenario where you give the person a character, and the character could have parents, or elders, like in the community or whatever, that would represent the parents.
Yeah.
But they would learn through the story that the parents or the elders are flawed, just like they are. So they have to understand that they're not these like mighty gods that are like, flawless, that they're, go through all the challenges we go through, and you have to be able to empathize in that same way.
Tim, this is so good. Here's what I'm wondering about. And you've been a full-time hypnotherapist for years now. I've seen a lot of people. In my mind, early on in my understanding of hypnosis, I sort of encountered people that were like, hey, if you're going to do like direct suggestion, if you're going to tell someone that, they're going to lose weight or going to feel better about a situation, even like, I remember asking in one of these Facebook groups, like, can't a good hypnotist just suggest someone that they no longer have depression? And then I got a whole lot of like, whoa, hey, yes, you could, but like there's like deep-rooted stuff there, and you have to attach things. And it seems at the end of the day that there is a lot of focus on regressing to the core issue, and then like reshaping like a fundamental moment or like a period of time when you're understanding. And even, I'll just say it usually is a moment with a parent that got put in incorrectly, your brain like wrapped around it wrong, and you have to sort it out. My question is this: how often do you believe that at the end of the day, to get deep change, it has to go there? Or have you seen in your experience the getting rid of, like, either two questions, either like doing a symptom based approach as a way to like healing the symptom as a way of resolving the other thing? Like, hypnotists tout that. Never been convinced fully that it works, but I think it kind of does for some things, A. And B, like, do you think your holodeck device could do that for people? Like, do you think we are at a level, our brains are capable of actually resolving things without going to that core incident, in your experience?
Well, I mean, look at the way a good regression works, okay? Now, I'm not going to mention his name, but I spoke to a person a hypnotist, a professional hypnotherapist, who's been in business at least as long as I have, who, when he does trauma work, phobia work, and he regresses people, he does revivification. Yeah, exactly. I was taught the opposite of that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I do not, I have the person see the experience as they're watching a movie, and they have a remote control so they can stop it, fast forward it, everything else. And I've already established their safety points before and after, so that it's just the watching the movie, it goes happy, goes sad, it goes happy again. I'll even put soundtracks to it where they'll have powerful music in the beginning and in the end. And in the middle, I might even put in, like, there was a guy who was in a car crash that almost killed him. And he couldn't remember it initially. He didn't, he knew he had the phobia. He didn't remember the car crash initially. Then in a second session, he told me about it. But the thing was, that when he was going through, when he was watching the part of the movie where he actually had the car crash, I put on the Benny Hill music.
Great. That's
so that it was like, no, I won't do it. I don't want you to get in trouble.
Thank you.
But he actually laughed, because he was watching it. He knew he was going to be safe at the end. He knew he was going to be okay. So he went from happy to scared to happy again. But the Benny Hill music made it all easier to just, laugh about, like, oh, geez, went through that, survived that. How crazy.
Yes.
So, and I mean, I love about regression therapy that as hypnotists, when we do it perfectly, we don't have to know what happened.
Yes.
The client never has to tell us, I went through this. They just
totally.
You just say, was there a trauma? Was there anything that, yes, okay, fine. Don't say a word about it. I'll stop people. I'll be like, they'll be about to go back to there. I'll see their eyes almost start to shift left to go back to tell me about the memory. And I'll be like, stop it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want you to think about it.
What do you think that is? Is it because, or do you think you'd interfere at all, or is it just for them?
I think that they're used to, anytime they've tried to deal with it in the past, person wants to hear about it. So that's like the default model, which is, I don't want to re-traumatize them,
Of course.
So I'm like, stop. And I just say, I want you to tell me after this happened when you felt safe and happy, when, and I'll have them really focus on it, then go back to when they felt safe and happy before. So they have those 2 points. I'll go through it again just to see them visualize it, see them reach those points, and then I'll run them through it. So they're watching the movie. They're seeing what happened. I'm only watching them watch the movie, so I can't see the movie. I don't.
Yeah.
But I never have to. But it helps me be a better therapist because I'm not analyzing what happened, because that's not really my job.
Yeah.
My job is to help the person. So to pick apart, to vivisect the trauma, I think is just going to be messy.
Yeah.
So that we have the ability to overcome trauma without having to see it, which, it's not any personal distaste for it. It's just, I want the person to not have to feel that pain, panic, or whatever.
Do you think in your new virtual reality hypnosis world where you're able to put people in roles and do this regression work or do this sort of change work, does it have to go into regression, you think, to still get powerful change?
No, it doesn't. It can go, actually, it's good that you say that, because as an actor, I bet, and I don't know what roles you've had, I don't know what you've done, okay?
Yeah.
But I'm going to take a guess, okay? And this is one of those fucking wonderful hypnosis guesses, right? But I'm going to take a guess that you've played a role where it wasn't something that you had done in your past as you're playing the character, but as you played the role, you learned something about yourself.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So of course we can use this acting therapy to help people.
Have you now? Is
Because
that
acting is role playing, right?
yes? Oh no, absolutely, absolutely. I think you're right. Is that what Lena has Lena been done any of this like holodeck kind of stuff?
Well, it's interesting. She's done
Lena Marie,
kind of,
sorry. Yes.
yeah. She's done a pretty advanced version of it in when we work with Emily. So here's a character that I haven't given her any real inspiration or knowledge of, but I know through, and here's where it gets into real open loops territory. My
Yes.
own travels into other dimensions. Okay.
Your travels.
Right. My unconscious travels into other dimensions, which I'm going to say are more Midnight Gospel than Buck Rogers or Star Trek.
Right.
You know, because I think Midnight Gospel really has more as far as if you're going to explore new places, that's the way that it's done more than you take a spaceship there. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's the show on Netflix. It's really really mind-blowing. It's
I recommend it. Everyone on Open Loops, if you like the whole Open Loops concept, and Greg, I think you're brilliant to have like really described this fringe, this like whole thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Midnight Gospel is a fantastic guidebook to like that whole concept of what we have to gain by going to other worlds.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
Because it's not like and he'll get tokens. Clancy will take home tokens from the other worlds. And I don't know if in this century we'll be able to physically go to other dimensions where we can take back objects, okay?
Yeah.
But we can take back ideas, you know?
Yeah.
So you could see an aircraft in another dimension, and it's not like anything you've seen here, but you learn and you understand it, and you come back here and you could build it.
Wow.
You know?
Lena, has Lena Marie over there? Lena Marie, have you been to other worlds, you feel?
I would say just with Emily and Tim, of course. But
well, you've been to Emily's world, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're gonna go into Emily. You know, I'm very interested. Like it sounds like more almost Lena. Maybe worlds have come through you, Lena Marie.
Basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. Huh. Yeah, and Tim, you told me, Lena Marie is a little less like even talkative than these other kind of entities that have talked through her.
Well, right. Lena channels Emily. And Emily, it's interesting, is much more outgoing than Lena is. Not as high as Lena is. And as Lena will tell you, Emily's English is a little better than Lena's is, which is hysterical if you think about it.
Yeah. Wow.
That's way better.
I mean, look, I really do want to talk philosophical hypnosis stuff with you, but part of me is just like, I feel like we should go into it.
Yeah, so let's call Lena out. And because let's call Emily out rather. Because Lena has been hypnotized by me several times before, you'll notice the induction is ridiculously simple.
And fast.
And fast. Yeah, I have more elaborate inductions, but for the sake of your show, I'm just going to use like a speed induction, so we can talk to Emily really quickly. Okay.
That's awesome.
I will also though demonstrate my levitation deepener.
Oh, wow.
Because when I first started doing hypnosis, people would feel really relaxed and feel really good when we get change work done. But because it wasn't like TV or the movies, people would say, I don't know if I was hypnotized. That would piss me off.
Yes.
So for a while, I did Justin's eye lock and have them say, I'm satisfied in order to open their eyes.
That's Justin Trance, our mentor. Yes.
Yes. But I then turned to a levitation as a convincer.
Interesting.
And a deepener. So you'll see that. And then I'll bring Emily out. And when Emily comes out, you'll see she's very talkative, very like, so you're going to be a little surprised by that, I think. But
wow.
Let's get right into it, okay?
Sounds great.
All right. Lena, you ready?
Just a few seconds.
Okay, just get yourself ready. Just get comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell me when you're ready.
Okay.
Okay, Lena, I'd just like you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and relax. That's right. That's right. And I'm going to count down from 3 to 1 and bring you into a deep sleep trance, okay?
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1. Deep sleep trance all the way down. All the way down. That's right. That's right. Deep sleep trance all the way down. That's right. Just let go. Just let go. It's like quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you go, the faster you go. So you can try to resist, but you just find yourself going deeper and deeper every moment. Deeper and deeper into trance. That's right. You feel it right now, don't you? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's right. That's right. Just let yourself go all the way down to the bottom of that deep sleep trance. That's right. That's right. It feels good. It feels really good. That's right. Now, feel yourself become completely weightless. That's right. Completely weightless. And you just start floating up. Up, 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 up. That's right. Up, up, up. Feel yourself weightless floating up. Up, up, up. That's right. Feel yourself completely safe and weightless. Floating, floating, floating. That's right. That's right. Now gently floating down. Gently floating down. That's right. That's right. That's right. There you go. And now we're going to open a door, and you're going to let Emily walk through that door. You know you'll be completely safe and sound at all times. You're going to give Emily complete control over your body, your voice, and your actions. And your body and you will be completely safe at all times. I'm right here. That's right. Lena, let go, walk through the door, and let Emily walk through at the same time. 1, 2, 3. That's right. Emily, you there?
Yeah.
Emily, I want you to meet Greg.
Hey.
Hey. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you doing, Emily? Do you feel well?
Mm-hmm.
Where are
Yeah,
you? I'm very curious about you. Where are you from?
that's a bit like difficult to explain. Um,
We have some time.
um, I'm from another dimension,
Yeah.
and I'm like more than 40, maybe 50 years in the future.
You're in the future.
Hmm.
Wow. What does so wait, you're in another dimension in the future.
Hmm.
Um,
Is it?
I mean, is
Yeah.
it are you far away from Earth? Are you like you seeing what's going on here still? Like what is that?
I some kind of um lived through all that stuff that's going on here on Earth. So it is some kind of another planet.
Wow. Tim, has Emily ever told you anything that's surprised you before about where she's from or, the time she's from?
Um, I don't fully understand the quote unquote. I'd almost call it politics of the races that live there. I don't mean human. There are non-human races that are not particularly friendly. That there have been
Wow.
wars and battles and things like that that she's described and told me about that are pretty. I don't remember her giving her any kind of inspiration for any of those ideas. So they're completely, from that universe generator, if you would, you know.
Wow. Yeah. Emily, I'm very curious about you. Can you tell me sort of like what do you do daily? What's your job? Do you have a job? Are there jobs in the future?
Um, there are some kind of jobs, I would say. We we have like the stuff you have now, like um the government and all that stuff, but it's like some kind of mix up. Um, we we don't have like a president or like a whole government. There's
Yeah.
more like just a king or a queen, and
Wow. That yeah, king or a queen. So wait a minute.
mhm,
Wait a minute. So who is the king? Do you know this person?
yeah. Um, but I can't tell you the name.
Are you not allowed to tell me?
Hmm.
Why? Well, now
Yeah.
why? Why does someone then? Why aren't you allowed?
We just have our rules, and yeah, I'm not allowed.
Wait a minute, Tim. This is like fascinating stuff. So according to Emily, there are rules in the future. about
What you're allowed to tell people from the past.
Yeah, is that specifically what it is? Like do they know, does the king know right now that you're having this conversation?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How do you feel about that?
Um, I don't care. Actually, I just
Does something bad happen if you break the rules?
it depends on which rule.
Well, what if you were if you were to tell me the king's name? So if you were to tell me the king's name, what would happen to you? Or is that a secret too? What would happen if you told me the king's name right now? Everybody wants to hear the name of the king
Right.
in
What
the
would be the
future.
consequences? Right.
Basically, it is a secret.
Wait a minute. So
I'm not allowed.
you're not even
I'm not
allowed to tell me what they're going to do to you?
Yeah.
Now, tell me this, Emily, what are you allowed to talk about in the future?
Mostly stuff of the past.
Is there anything new you can teach us? I mean, look, right now we're in 2020. It's mid-August of 2020. There's a global pandemic. People are worried
I
about
know.
money. Can you give us any sort of guidance? How would we get out of this? Are you allowed to tell us? Like what can you teach us about this moment in time?
The thing it would cause some like problems with time if I tell you, or if I talk too much about all that.
Interesting.
So I'm basically not allowed to like talk about things at all.
Why do you think you do go through Lena Marie to talk? Like if you're not, to me, and this is what I'm trying to understand, like if you're not allowed to talk about stuff right now, if you're not allowed to tell us anything from the future, even though, Lena Marie allowed you to come through to her, Emily, what's the purpose? Like, what's the purpose? Like, why do you even come if you're not allowed to say anything? Like, what are you trying to achieve here?
More understanding that there are other dimensions that are not explored, and like there are planets, there
Are you are you nervous about what you're talking about right now? Are you telling us too much?
I try not to.
Let me
Yeah, please, Tim.
I happen to have taken a little of the technology from Lena's world, and I can tell you that
You mean my world?
yes, from Emily's world rather, and I can tell you to give you like a primary understanding of it, that the energy that's created when two people are in harmony, they're thinking like parallel processors in a way. You know what I mean? Their energy is synced. Okay. The more people you add to that, the more power the circuit gets. And when you have a certain number of people psychically focused a certain way, you can easily like transmit to other dimensions. You can look backwards and forwards in time, and you can actually alter the future in a positive way, kind of, I guess you would call it almost a group manifestation,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
And the principles are confirmed everywhere from things in the New Testament to things of modern witchcraft like Crowley and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So wait a minute, Tim, have you actually have you had anyone channeled through you, or have you in your journeys interdimensionally like met this Emily? Have you guys met
I
before in another
Yeah,
world?
I met Emily first in her world, and then
You
she
brought
came
her.
here. Right, exactly. I asked her to come back here, and she chose Lena to channel through, and then Lena and I met, we thought randomly, but clearly it was, we when I found Emily and Lena, I realized that, our meeting was not random. It was, she had come through from Emily's world,
Wait, really? Let go into that for a second. That's so fascinating. So thank you, Emily. Thank you for being here. Still, when you were, are you telling me that it actually was like, and this is like skeptical Greg coming out. So this is why I must ask.
That's cool.
Like you went to this other dimension, you talked with Emily, all this stuff, then like Lena Marie came to you, who I don't even know. Okay, talk to me the steps from like Lena Marie reaching out to you discovering Emily wanted to use her as a vessel.
Lena and I met on a hypnosis board.
Got it.
And we talked about hypnosis. We did a Skype call, and I found her to be an incredible hypnotic subject.
Yes.
And we talked for, I think maybe it was about 2 weeks, about different things. And I told her, she was one of the first people I had talked to about as far as interdimensional traveling and stuff, and I was just like, I know this may sound crazy, but, and she's like, no, that sounds cool. And
right.
I did a hypnosis session with her, and Lena, Emily, do you remember how you kind of came across, or do you remember how you kind of your first peek into this world?
I think you hypnotized Lena and just asked me to come through her to talk with you.
Yeah, and at that point I didn't know your name. I just knew you were from the other dimension, and you told me your name yourself.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So Emily, you remembered Tim. You were seeing Tim up there. The king, the king wasn't watching you for a couple minutes, maybe. I'm very interested in this king. What is going on with this king? Why is this king not letting you learn more here? Teach us things.
Because it can cause problems.
Can we get the king on?
No. No. I didn't think so.
What about the queen? Is the queen nicer?
No, not at all. She's
worse? She's worse than the king?
Yeah.
Wait a Wait a minute, Lena Marie's, who's listening or who maybe isn't listening right now. Well, how is Lena Marie doing down there, by the way?
Uh, she's just relaxing and
Yeah.
some kind of listening and drifting at the same time.
Emily, what is your life like? Like, are you, Tim says that you're very much more talkative, and you do seem to be a little more talkative than Lena Marie was for sure. I mean, are there still bars? Do people meet each other? Like that? Like, are there coffee shops? Do you dance? Like, what is life like for you?
Um, we, I would say we just live in a really big house instead of cities and all that
It's
kind
a
of,
really big house.
yeah, more
Tim, have
more
you ever
like
been to this house?
Yeah, it's communal living. So it's picture a commune.
Yeah.
Very kind of a combination of the beauty of nature and everything like that from your 60s commune mixed with a kind of science slash hypnotists, or
Yeah, totally. One of those weekend retreats at some master hypnosis trainers,
right
house.
resort. Right.
Yes. Wait, why are you laughing over there, Emily? What's funny to you about this?
just the description.
Is it accurate? This is,
Yeah, it is.
are you looking at us? I mean, look, you might be looking at me this way because I haven't traveled to interdimensions, at least that I'm aware of. Actually, have I, Emily?
Um, I don't know.
Can you see any Greg up there, wherever you are, in there?
Um, I mean, not that I know of,
Wait a minute. Am I dead in 50 years?
no.
Okay. I'm very nervous right now, Tim. This is
No.
freaking me out. Okay, that's good.
You don't need to be dead to visit us.
I don't need to be bad or dead to visit
Dead.
you. Oh my gosh.
You don't need to be dead.
Right, it's not an afterlife.
Yeah.
That's good. Hey, is there life after death, you think?
Ooh, good question.
That's a question.
Maybe there is for you. Maybe your life is eternal.
I shouldn't tell you my age.
Wait a minute.
Nope.
Women are
That's
much,
still a thing in the future?
Well, I think she's just doing this, but she actually has a longer lifespan than we currently do. So I think she's probably lived a whole one of our lives. Maybe you and me put together.
Do you look different than Lena Marie does?
Yeah.
Like, do you have a body like a full form that's different, like a different face, different, like feet, hands? Like, actually, do you have a body? That's a good question. Do you have skin?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll let her answer that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you've seen her up there. You've seen her before.
Yeah.
What is your experience, Emily?
Yeah, I guess.
You have a body. Is that do you understand the question? Like are you made of the same stuff that Lena Marie is?
That's a good question too.
Are you human?
Some kind of.
I
Some
don't mean
kind of,
to. Some kind of human. I know. I feel bad interrogating you, but I mean, how often do you get to meet an interdimensional being? What should we call you? Should we call you an alien? Should we call you like what is the right thing to call you?
oh, I don't think that's a good one.
Oh, that I wouldn't call you an alien. I wouldn't call you that.
Um, the first time I was in Lena's body, it was like strange to me.
Why?
The I wouldn't say we're ghosts, but for me, we're just floating above the surface and have an actual human body
Huh.
is some kind of strange.
Yeah. What's strange about it?
We in our world we have walls and like the house and but the thing is you can, or at least I can, walk through walls.
You can walk through walls. You can walk through walls?
Yeah, or some kind of teleportation.
Wow.
I think they have they experience a direct physical form, but they have such a mastery over it
Yeah.
that first off, they can, while it's a real physical body, it's not, like a hologram or anything, it's a real physical body. It's almost a projection as far as it is what they see it as.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I was gonna say, like, why do you need a house if you can walk through walls?
But I think in their ability to change, they're not. I don't think they're completely polymorphic. I think they have to stay to kind of a humanoid kind of frame. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't, Emily. You're not able to like turn into a bird if you wanted to, right?
No.
Right.
Do you want to? Do you want to? That's a good
Sometimes,
question.
yeah.
But you might have the mental ability to levitate or to fly. Is that right?
I wouldn't say fly, but yeah, levitate.
Right. You can project yourself off the ground, and right, you might not be moving as fast as someone who's flying, but you can
Mm-hmm.
let go of gravity for a little while.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's strange here. The first time I was here, I just some kind of hit the door and the walls.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't walk through them, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So this is like a level of mental control and physical control that you read about in like the Yoga Sutras and shit like that.
I was
You know
gonna
what I mean?
say, yeah. Remember there was a whole thing about like TM in the, when it got really popular in the middle of the 20th century and people were starting to claim that you could teleport, and yogis were claiming that if you studied with them you could float, levitate, all that stuff, widely disproved in the sense that like no one's ever seen, there's
Right.
there's nothing you can see that's proof per se of that, but that's so interesting. So yeah, speak more to that, Tim.
Well, you've seen Men Who Stare at Goats, right?
Yes.
And walking through the wall, that whole kind of concept and idea. I actually knew the late Colonel Jim Channon.
Really?
Yeah. I never met him in person. I only talked to him over the phone and through Facebook. But I was appointed an admiralship in the 1st Earth Battalion.
Wow.
And also a seat on the Psionic Council. So I was given some very nice honorary titles by...
Yeah, congratulations. I didn't realize I was lucky. Thank you for your service.
Yeah. But he had worked with the government to do all the psychic soldier, super soldier stuff, and about the government's remote viewing stations and stuff like that, at least the ones that were, we were told about.
Yes.
The new ones obviously we're not being told about. They said they stopped doing it, but if it worked, why would they stop doing it? It's ridiculous. Like, oh yeah, we did this and it actually did work, but we stopped doing that because that's creepy, right?
Right.
So there's still remote viewing stations, that the government's using and stuff. But Jim, pioneered that, and when he was looking at it, he looked at all sorts of philosophies and stuff through the world, and took people out of the limitations that we put on ourselves in the 21st century now. Back then, in the 20th century, when you define yourself, when you put that frame around yourself of culture and humanity and everything else, you let go of or cut yourself off of sometimes the kind of more mythic parts of your nature, and we don't know everything that we can do. I mean, I've started seeing amazing things through hypnosis, but if someone was able to actually levitate, I would watch it. I'd be impressed. I'd want to learn how to do it. And the thing that I'm getting from Emily's world is that maybe instead of having one person trying to levitate themselves, you have 7 people who are in synchronized energy, and they levitate one of them, all their energy focused together. That'd be so much easier and simpler than what we have now. And while Emily's world seems similar to ours in a lot of ways, the personal division of dividing people up against each other, and of having people even in pairs work competitively against everyone else.
It seems to be an issue. I mean, this queen sounds like a raging biatch. I'm sorry to say it. But who is this woman? Why doesn't she believe in harmony, Emily?
The thing is, we have some kind of a war again, and she's just protecting us.
So
She, does
she has to take tough measures.
yes.
Yeah.
She's tougher than the king, though.
Yeah.
If you were to tell me the queen's name and the king's name, oh, sorry, I guess we got some interference there. I wonder if they hear this. If you were to tell me their names, Emily, would I recognize them? Is that the problem? Do we already know in 2020 who the king is?
That it, it is some kind of a problem with
Is it Donald
the
Trump?
vision.
Is
No.
Donald Trump the king?
No.
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 That's you sure of.
What
Donald
about
Trump is
Barron?
not the
Barron,
king.
is it a Trump? Do the Trumps have power in 2070? We need to know this right now.
Yeah, this is important stuff.
Oh gosh. I'm not allowed to say that.
You're not allowed to say, Tim, this is not good. This is not a good sign right now.
No, come on, Emily. Just confirm that it's not a Trump. Because I think what she's doing is she's concerned that or the concern is that the name. Let's say the name is. Let me go in another direction. Maybe this will make her more nervous. Let's say the name is Musk, right?
Yeah.
Not Trump, but Musk, right?
Yeah. Uh-oh. Okay,
Right,
keep going.
right. And even if it's not related to Elon, it's just a coincidence, right?
Yeah.
As soon as we know in this century the name of the person, then going forwards, that pebble can get caught under the foot of someone who's affecting the future and F up their future. You know what I mean?
Totally. Well, it's like, yeah, Back to the Future, man. Those Back to the Future movies taught us the power of messing. Have you seen Back to the Future, Emily?
Several times.
You've watched Back to the Future? Really? It's still an enduring classic in the future? Wow. Tim, this is a huge discovery for me. I think we learned something.
I think so.
Wait a minute. I honestly, I don't want to keep you, but I really could do 3 hours with Emily right now, learning. And really the conversation would be about what she's allowed to tell me and what she's not allowed to tell me.
Right. Well, I have to have. Well, you definitely have to have Emily back sometime. But
yeah, this has been amazing.
I would love to come back on the show, and also I think it would be great to talk with Lena sometime. Because,
yeah, I want. Yeah,
Lena has experienced a great deal of different hypnotic phenomena and techniques. So everything from an ice cube to cool her down when she's cold, to a way to make her feel full every time I say the word cheese.
Interesting.
Thanks, Tim.
You're welcome.
Who was that talking? Was that Emily talking or Lena right there?
Yeah, it was me, Emily.
You were thanking Tim on Lena's behalf?
It is just annoying to feel always hungry when I'm in her body.
Yeah, totally. This is so interesting. Now, wait a minute, Emily.
Yeah.
Do you ever visit Lena without Tim's help? Does Lena do you sneak up on her sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah. But I don't do it too often.
Yeah. What's the number one thing, if at the end of this conversation today, we got a lot of people in this world that are freaking out with the with the virus going on. We have a lot of people that don't know what's real and what's not. They're talking about getting rid of the postal service in the US. I mean, it's really there's a lot going on. Can you give us any sort of good message from the future on behalf, put the king on, just anything that the king, anything that we can, what can we do right now to get through this?
Oh gosh.
There's an answer. Oh, that was an answer, Tim. She knows something helpful. It's a controversial answer, though. Is the answer kill Elon Musk? do we have to murder him? Is that what you're telling us right now?
No.
No. Okay, good.
No.
Good.
Does it involve murder? Do we have to get into war? Are you really not allowed to tell us?
I think you can say no to that, because from what I've been told, the answer is kind of in the opposite direction. So, Lena, you can Emily, you can tell me how much trouble we'll get in for what I'm going to say. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
I think the best answer to your question, Greg, and from what I've been able to find, would be everyone who should learn hypnosis. Okay.
Ooh.
What?
What was that, Emily?
That's always a good thing.
That's always a good thing.
Oh, that's a good thing. Okay, great.
Yeah, I think she said that's always a good thing. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And secondary to that is instead of being isolated, and I'm not talking about social distancing or anything like that. I'm saying where you and person X or people A, B, and C are tested and safe, and you can be in each other's company, right?
Yeah.
That people coming together and communicating on the hypnotic level, going to that trance state. Okay. The more people you have involved, and I'm not saying you need a room full of 100, but I'm saying 4, 5, 7, in that range, you know what I mean? Even 9 and 11,
Yeah.
But even 3 is a breakthrough compared to our current setup. You know what I mean?
Yes.
3, 5, 7, 9, 11 people reaching simultaneously deep trance states.
Whoa, wait a minute. Why those numbers? Is there significance to those numbers?
Well, without realizing it, except for 9, all of them are primes. But 9 I think was a one of Tesla's favorite numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know why I didn't really say the evens, but my guess is going to be that to avoid pairing,
So wait a minute,
because
those numbers just came from a channeled place? You weren't even aware of the numbers you were throwing out there?
No, exactly. Yeah.
Emily, is that just what happened? Did he just get a divine inspiration to say those numbers or something? What just happened there? Did you make him say those numbers?
No.
What is the significance of 973?
Are you a little worried about the information I'm giving out? Are you a little scared?
No, I don't.
No.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I trust you there.
I I think, yeah, it is fine.
Do you
Okay,
think
it
right
is.
now it is fine? It is. Oh my gosh. What's
Yeah.
the queen? What's she going to do to you now? You just said it. We all have to go into trance. The queen heard. What's going to happen to you? Are you safe?
No, I'm safe and it's fine.
So
Wow. I think we should all go into trance. I love it. I'm a trance junkie. I mean, that's what this show is a tribute to. Open Loops. It's like a playground for the mind. It's a theme park for the mind. I really, I look at it that way. And whatever that means, if it's, an auditory theme park versus like actually engaging in the conscious level, like exploration of the imagination in a fantastical way, which is something, Tim, that you've been about forever, since I've known you, at least. Like and this is the thing, Emily. I hope you'll agree with me. That I love about Tim is that so many hypnotists, I feel like the popular stuff about hypnosis isn't recreational. That's my big issue. When you're talking recreational trance, you're either talking about usually like stage hypnosis for entertainment, or you're talking about like very set things. I guess you could call past life regression that, or recreational would be like erotic hypnosis, using it for that kind of thing. But like Tim and me, we're both like, hey, do you see how this technology can actually like help you go to other worlds like we're experiencing right now? Like, Tim, you've always been interested in that. That's the only thing. I mean, yeah, it changes people's lives. Like, it is a powerful force for change, but it also is so much more than I feel like most hypnotists even allow their minds to tap into.
I'm gonna tell you two things that will probably blow your mind. Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready.
The first is I got into hypnosis to find a cheaper way of getting high than weed.
Wow. That's
So
fair.
I mean, I'd used MJ for to help with my nerve condition I was born with.
Right.
But I said to myself, okay, this is a state of being. When I use this substance, I go into this state, and it's not the substance that's making my body that way. It's the way my body is reacting to that substance. So if I can have that reaction, I don't necessarily need the substance.
Yes.
And that was what like kind of started me on the journey towards it. Now here's my second confession that will blow your mind, and I dare you to give me a similar confession if it's true, for yourself.
Oh gosh, Emily's laughing. I'm nervous too, Emily.
Okay. I faked it as far as going into trance. Like when I studied with Igor and I was in front of everyone and everything else, I was faking it. Okay. I wasn't really in trance. I was pretending. I was playing along. Okay.
Yeah.
About 2 or 3 years into working with clients, I actually went into a trance. I actually like felt myself like, whoa, I'm not in this room anymore. I'm somewhere else. I feel this time shift. I feel this experience shift. I feel like a whole, like going into a dream and coming out again. You know what I mean? And had that true like hypnotic experience. Okay.
Yeah.
Probably about like 2 or 3 years after I'm already started as a hypnotherapist. Okay. When was the first time you truly, like honestly, without a doubt, felt hypnotized?
Oh man, I still don't know if I have, truth be told.
Okay, that's the truth. That's the honest. That's the real deal. Okay.
There was one guy ever that did something to me that suggested something was going on beyond like my own trying to convince myself it was happening. But like even then, um that is like the level of like what you're talking about, experiencing phenomena, like getting like negative hallucinations or something like really like this is hypnosis. I am in this and I am in this state. Or no, I know state versus I in this
You're in that world. You're in that place.
I've never had that yet. I don't believe.
Okay. That's my quest then, is to get you there.
That's great.
And what I think we'll do is we'll use mirroring. So first we'll do a call together off the radio, off the air, where I'll take Lena to that space and through some phenomena and stuff like that. And then after I take her out, we'll do you.
Wait, is it because I'm scared? I'm getting scared right now. I'm a little scared, I think. Maybe that's the answer.
I'm sorry. I just laughed because Lena is like freaking out.
Why is Lena freaking out?
Does she want to talk? You want to let her talk?
She's just as you said, you want to let her experience some hallucinations and all that stuff. She's just like, oh my gosh, yeah!
Really?
Yeah.
Right, and she wants to talk about the riding the horse, which is a hallucination.
What, Emily?
I can't hear. I can't hear it anymore.
What's wrong with the horse?
you Emily. I'm gonna let me just count Emily down, and then bring Lena back, okay? Because Lena will tell you about the horse.
Okay,
Emily,
great.
you okay with that?
Yeah.
It was amazing meeting you, Emily.
Oh gosh. Yeah. It was great to meet you too.
I hope to keep this conversation going. Send my regards to the royalty. Tell them to be a little less harsh, all right? You can talk to me. We're good friends now. You can tell me what's going to happen.
Yeah, I will talk with them.
Good, but don't get in trouble either. All right. Great meeting you. Tim, take it away.
All right. Emily, just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and relax. You know that you've been doing hypnosis since you were probably about 10 years old, I think. 3, 2, 1. Deep sleep trance all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. You see the doorway. It's clear. You open it. You give Lena a hug and a kiss. Because you guys love each other a lot. And you let Lena walk through, and Emily, you go through the door. Lena, come back to us right now. I'm going to count 1 to 3, and you're going to open your eyes on 3. 1, 2, 3. Open your eyes, Lena. How are you feeling?
Good.
Hi. Wow. Hi, Lena.
Hi. Oh gosh.
What did you just experience? What are you reacting to right now?
Give me a few seconds.
No worries, no worries, no worries.
I think the best I could explain it, I believe, is I think Lena was how we would say kind of at a resort in the other world, being pampered, and now she's returning back to our kind of harsh earth.
Yeah, I know. And Emily didn't give us anything. She didn't give us any advice whatsoever, Lena. Also the horse, like what's going on with this horse? I don't know if Lena wants to talk about it even. It sounds like it's a controversial topic.
Oh no, it's nothing like that. I had given Lena a hallucination of an experience of that she had seen a policeman with a riding a horse and had another horse with them, and Lena had asked if she could ride the horse and rode the horse around the block. And when I told Lena that this was a hallucination, this was, she had asked me to give her a fake experience, and I did. She didn't believe me because she swore up and down that she had actually had the experience.
I still don't believe you.
That it was not real. You still believe you rode the horse that day?
I still don't believe that it was just a hallucination.
That's amazing. Yeah, you know what? She does sound different than Emily a little bit, a little softer, a little okay, two things I want to point out. First of all, during your story, Tim, which I don't think we got the full loop closed on about about what you were gonna do to me to like open me up into the world, and the mind-blowing. Was the mind-blowing part of your story that you didn't experience it until you started working with clients? Like, what was the mind? When was my mind supposed to be blown?
Oh, okay.
Have you blown it yet? Is it coming?
What is the mind blower?
First one was you got high, or you were looking to get high with hypnosis.
Oh, right. I thought that would be a little bit of a mind blower.
No, that definitely did blow my mind. That was good. That was
my
good.
inspiration to
as the reason
hypnosis was like cheap drugs.
I love that.
And the second one was to be a professional hypnotherapist who's, never actually been hypnotized. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. That's a little bit of like it can lead to, I know for me, it's definitely led to like a little bit of that imposter syndrome, a little bit.
Right. Because you're like, here's the wild thing. If you're good, and as an actor, like as someone with that background, I think you have at least the capability to be really good. I don't know if you are really good. I haven't really listened to
what as a hypnotist. You mean you just as like a practicing hypnotist?
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So, I did think you did awesome Street when we did Street together. That was fantastic.
Right.
And I think you understand it completely, so you should be able to do the awesome stuff. I haven't seen you like work with a client or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, look, my journey is I've played around with that the past couple of years for sure. But then, I see how powerful it is. Frankly, it's my life coach kind of put it to me this way. When he encouraged me, the coach I'm working with encouraged me to start this podcast. He's like, so many people get into hypnosis because they're in love with hypnosis and not helping people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it doesn't mean I don't help people regularly, but my draw to hypnosis, what keeps me engaged with it, is the infinite amount of learning about what it is and what it can do versus actually being like a clinical person.
Right. There's so much to it. And I mean, I see the recreational side as being a whole, like bigger than Starbucks, you know?
Yes. Totally agree.
And I've even like envisioned the marketing for it being similar to like Recall from Total Recall.
Yes, it is so untapped. People can't get. By the way, you heard it here, folks. Tim cites the Happy Hypnotist. We're gonna get that trademarked, maybe before this airs. Even the I am HD. I mean, so interesting. in this time, think of how many people would have benefited from a virtual vacation. I thought about it immediately. I said, if I'm going to
Right.
leverage hypnosis, like a lot of people are going to like, hit the, oh my gosh, uncertainty times. What are we going to do? We have so much anxiety. And my thought always goes to recreation. Like a lot of people built their 9-to-5 lives around having something to do on the weekends and going and traveling and destination weddings and all this stuff. And they can't. So
Right.
what's the closest thing? Well, if you are a virtuoso in the hypnosis, if you are a somnambulistic subject, like, and you haven't even explored that, like, first off, these vacations could be better than maybe the ones you go in real life.
Yeah,
And
totally.
then, and then B, it's like people that aren't there, a good hypnotist. And again, this is where my skills are a little less refined in the sense that I just haven't really spent a lot of time working with like people in a concentrated way with the sole focus of being what Milton Erickson was doing, which was like thousands of hours sometimes with one person to see if they could get them to do like catalepsy. I mean, if he sometimes like it was like, and sometimes it took that much to get people that suggestive. That part interests me. Haven't explored it enough. Would love to do it in a world that, hey, maybe there was a market for people teaching people how to develop those suggestive skills.
Here's the thing. We can always regress people to a movie or a TV show or a book or some kind of experience like that where storytelling was involved.
Yeah.
That they had a deep experience where they went beyond, where they felt for the characters. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't, as much as we do learn through imitation and everything, we also have this amazing ability to learn through indirectly through stories and stuff like that,
Yes.
And so if you can click a person on to that level where they can remember feeling that attachment to the story, that depth to the story, you can start to open that door to them getting to that deep level of hypnosis. Now, I think, and I don't know if, like, Justin has talked about this, 90% of the hypnotists out there aren't doing real hypnosis. They're doing like progressive relaxation.
Yes.
They're doing scriptnosis. They're doing like stuff that is out of date, doesn't work, and it's just at best a placebo.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
What, Lena?
It's just boring.
Boring. Yeah, Lena's got these little sassy comments in between.
I try to avoid them.
You try to avoid your Emily did not feel shy about the sassy comments at all. That was the other thing I was going to say. Like, there was a moment Tim was like, I was so confused what happened. My listeners, I was a little scared for a second because Tim was like, yeah, I was always faking it. And then Emily was like, that's what you do. You always do that. She like whispered something like that. And I was like, whoa, that's weird that she's not speaking in the proper tense. Also, like, was she taken back in time to Tim in that moment and commenting on it? Like, you'll hear the whisper. I heard it clearly. That was the second thing I was going to ask you, Tim. Like, what was Emily doing while you were telling your story with her little interjections? Like, they were very strange and out there, but I guess that's what you can expect from someone from another dimension.
Yeah, it's hard to understand the shift in perspective.
Yeah.
Because our language is so based on what we understand right now. Like, I was explaining to Lena just a day ago how mad doesn't necessarily mean angry. It at one point meant insane. It meant crazy, like a mad house or a mad hatter, that sort of thing. So words, you look at how a word like that has changed and the meaning has changed. And so understanding someone speaking from another time or another like world perspective is going to be a real shift. Now, you know, there's a king and a queen, like these people in power, but I can tell you enough to say that Emily's world is not based on monogamy. You know what I mean?
Oh, whoa. What? That king is sleeping around?
Well, I don't know about the king and queen's personal situation. Okay, that's a whole.
Yes, Lena? Is that what's happening? Is the king cheating on his woman?
I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think it's cheating.
Or maybe it's not cheating up there. Like,
Oh gosh. Yeah, it's okay, Emily.
wait a minute. Emily, you just talked to Emily?
Yeah. Sometimes she's
Gets vocal.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you know, Tim, when you were talking about like what the solution for the world would be, you know, bigger picture, everybody learning hypnosis, I was like, is he gonna say like everybody needs to be having more sex?
And actually, that actually in a way is part of it. Although it's not just more hypnosis and more sex. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's a holistic coming together beyond isolation that you're speaking to. It's like sex is obviously a force that it's a life force. It's what brought us here, so that's a key part of it. But it's also being more compassionate, being like touch doesn't have to be erotic. It can be sensual or just you know, like there's such thing as platonic touch. You know, I mean, like
yeah. Well, it's funny. It's a little bit not Brave New World, Stranger in a Strange Land. You know, you grok. You know,
not as familiar with that one.
Okay, it's
but I have watched that video. You know that video of the two kids like sitting on this came out like right when COVID happened, like the two kids telepathically communicating to each other about like this was a time when humans needed to grow and emerge, and it's just like two children staring at each other with voiceovers like reflecting on the past. I kind of thought that was happening with Emily, like she was going to give us something, but she didn't even give us that. She just told us about like an unhappy marriage. Like, I'm like, oh great, this is what we got going on in other dimensions. What do you have to say about that, Lena?
I think they are happy. She just can't tell us much about her life and the whole situation.
Yeah,
I think she personally dislikes the queen and the king to some extent, but I think it's more of a personal.
Yeah, Emily, it's okay.
Than like a whole political thing. You know what I mean?
I'm a little concerned about this, Emily, right now, like talking with Lena on a daily basis. Like, Lena, do you walk through your life and you like in public have to like talk to Emily? Or, I mean, does that happen to you? Like, because that, you know, I mean, Tim, we both know that that's like what Americans would classify as like, you know, a multiple personality or
no,
schizophrenia. Like, what's the difference between that and what's happening now?
Yes, have I made this girl crazy? No.
I'm trying to say that in a polite way, but yeah, have you?
Right. I get to the point. No, Emily generally behaves and is a positive force in Lena's life. Would you agree with that, Lena?
Yes, totally.
Has anybody ever said, who is Emily, like when you're out in public? Like, have you spoken to Emily in public and anybody's thought you were quote unquote crazy?
I don't speak with Emily like right now in public.
That's what I was getting, Tim. You know, I get the sense that this is a space where Emily's still kind of floating.
Right.
Yeah. This is a space for that. Very interesting. You know what? This has been so mind-blowing, so cool. Tim, you know, I'm definitely going to have to hit you up at some point to see if I'm scared.
We're going to get you into a deep trance where you feel it. Okay.
Yep. My favorite thing is deep trance, man.
What?
My favorite thing is deep trance. My favorite thing is deep trance identification. If you can get me DTIing someone, man, dude, I will give you mad props. Like, I want to step into the body of the greatest, the mind and body of the greatest thinkers in the world. I mean, obviously not Elon Musk. We know how Emily feels about Elon, but like other people. I mean, I would love to be in the mind of an NLP master. I mean, like obviously Milton's the classic example, but like, what
Well,
about
I think one of the easiest ways to do that is there's another way of traveling extra dimensionally, which is traveling like it's kind of like traveling timelines of like what ifs,
huh?
and we can find the timeline where Greg Bornstein might be a university professor or a business tycoon using hypnosis,
Interesting. I
or
love
an
that
NLP
stuff.
master or whatever, a personal coach or whatever who is like working with billionaires,
Yeah.
But whatever hyper, attuned Greg you want to click into will go and have you do a one-to-one with them or step into their body.
Yeah.
So like what you need to bring back to this world to feel that way all the time.
Tim, I'm definitely going to let people know about where they can seek you and reach out to you. Is this kind of the work you are? I mean, are people coming to you for this kind of stuff, or are you traditionally still? I'm guessing because that's what the market is. The market is still saying quit smoking, weight loss. I know you've done a lot with that.
Yeah, but if people who I'd love to work with, if you role play, if you cosplay, I think people who cosplay it's a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
People who really dive into their imaginations, you're watching Midnight Gospel or Rick and Morty and you're saying,
Yes.
yeah, that really could happen, just, in a different way,
Yeah. Lena, do you like Rick and Morty?
Mm-hmm.
Emily must love Rick and Morty if she loves Back to the Future still. Right? I mean, wow. This is so fascinating.
She loves it.
She loves it. Emily, does Emily like Rick and Morty too?
Yeah.
Tim, isn't it so interesting in the future they watch this stuff?
It's wild. I've never like really asked about the like cultural stuff, but yeah, it's really interesting. But yeah, if you have anyone listening or who wants to start exploring other worlds or kind of see more of themselves and other dimensions, I'm happy to teach it because I think that's the way. And the technology I brought back from that world points to people working together using hypnosis to achieve a state where telepathy and beyond just happen because you're it's like a electrical circuit of thought and personal energy.
Wait, you just answered my question telepathically, which was sort of weird. Which was very strange. Lena, I don't know.
Lena's familiar with this. We've done some amazing psychic work together. And like she asked me, can you use hypnosis to be psychic? And I said, okay, this is the number you're thinking of. I think it was either 357 or 359. I don't remember what it was.
357.
357. And
yeah.
You just got it.
And yeah, and what I said to her was, I said, write down the number, and then I'm going to say it. And she wrote it down, and I said 357. And she was like, and I just said pick a number. I didn't even say a 3-digit number.
Yeah.
Okay. And she wrote it down. And then afterwards, I taught her how you can suggest numbers to people and stuff like that. It wasn't what I had done, but I showed her like how, I could say, okay, listen to this. And I said a few things, and I said, okay, write down a number. And I said, okay, that number is 1437 or whatever it was, 14, something. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, that one I cheated on, and I explained to her how I did it. But the first time when I had, had to write down the number and I guessed it, there wasn't that. I hadn't done any pre-suggestion or anything to it. So it was just an authentic telepathic proof,
Wow, 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 wow. My brain is exploding so much.
But
Yeah.
this is our key. This is our doorway to our greatest psychic abilities is both, let me explain it as advanced hypnosis, going into state, like really deeply, and working together, and using tantric energy, which, as you understand, isn't purely sexual, but is just like an appreciation energy.
Whoa, whoa, interesting. Tim, here's my question. It's a classic question, but I feel like you have a unique answer. How would you define hypnosis?
For me, hypnosis is opening the door to trance, which is a state that we go through all the time in different ways, and creating that doorway and going to that destination together.
So it's like it's a guided.
It can't be.
Right. It's with someone usually, like it's someone who's facilitating it, and even if it is self-hypnosis, it's like your voice facilitating it on yourself, or another voice, like it's still a guided process at some level.
Right. And by that, I mean that it's, remember for me, it was like 2 or 3 years into being a hypnotherapist that I went into trance myself. The thing was, I never did scripts because I had to be there. I had to be there in the moment. And I started, as I was, successfully bringing people into deep trance, I started to find that space. Because I always wanted to be with the person. I didn't want to be like, okay, I'm looking from afar and telling you what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going on the tour as your tour guide, as your translator, and I have to be there right with you. I can't just be there on your phone. I have to be in that country with you,
Yeah.
And that's what brought me there. And that's the whole thing, is that I think the neural pathways between two or more people going into that state, using that psychic bridge to that altered consciousness state that allows more psychic ability to manifest. As we, learn to use that and to reach that like as a regular thing, because right now it's a drug to us. So Lena loves going into trance. I love going into trance. You love going, as close as you can to trance. The most you can experience, right?
Oh, I love it. That's what this show is. I listen to people sitting back and listening is a trance state.
See, right. I want you, and like, I don't mean this in a gay way.
You could. I know you're a married man to a lovely lady. Yes.
Right. But I want you to have that like hypnotic orgasm of like deep trance, in that it is a
Wait a minute. What, Lena? What? What do you have to say? It is an orgasm?
She said it's wonderful, I think. Is that what you
said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it an orgasm? Would you say it really is like deep trance is orgasmic once you get there?
That
Would you say it's as
um
intense?
on a different level, yeah.
Hmm.
Right.
It
It's
is
not
not
the
like
same.
it's not like an orgasm.
Right.
You know, I was watching that show last night, Unwell on Netflix. That's like kind of taking a documentarian view of these ladies are doing investigative journalism looking into modern wellness movements, essential oils, and beasting therapy. And they did an episode on Tantra. And one of the ladies there who they were featuring, I think they had several sex Tantra instructors. They were talking about how the orgasm is separate from ejaculation. Like it really is an orgasm in the mind. And the fact that you brought up Tantra again, now, of course, this show talks about like people abusing positions of power and leading tantric circles, like which happens in pretty much every single power structure you can find. Like there's no such thing as any sort of structure I've ever met where there's a leader and abuse hasn't happened. And that's right, king and queen up there. I'm looking at both of you. Be careful with each other. But what I'm saying is like, you know, Tantra, the fact that you brought up Tantra again makes me wonder, is that like Tantra and trance? What exactly is the non-sexual tantric component of reaching deep trance? How would you kind of explain that? Or is it sexual? I mean, everything is kind of like life energy. Like we wouldn't be here without sex. So like clearly it's important.
Well, it's what it is though is like there's that an orgasm is an example of a deep trance state. Okay.
Yes.
Because when you're in that moment, you're not thinking about generally, what do I look like right now? What should I do next? What am I going to have for dinner tonight?
Right.
Did I
That's
pay
when it's
my
going
taxes?
well. You're in it. You're
Right.
yes.
Right. You're in the moment, and as athletes call it, you're in the zone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another moment. If you're playing a game, doing a sport, or having an athletic event that you're in, and you're 100% emotionally and mentally committed to that moment, you're in another state of consciousness than you are when you're walking around, when you're talking to your friends, right?
Yeah.
And when you're taking a test, you know, you're in this high state of like, oh shit, you know.
Yes.
Okay. So the athlete gets there, the person having sex gets there, the now as the actor on stage, right? When you're in the role, and especially I think when you have an audience that feels it and gives you that energy back, isn't that as good as sex in a way? As good as an orgasm in a way?
Right.
In its intensity, right? And people do drugs or drink or whatever to try to get to the as best they can to that kind of state, you know. If you look at it, like, drugs and alcohol are generally the least dependable way to get there, right?
Yeah. Absolutely, especially like when you wake up.
Right. Sex is kind of like it's the best guaranteed route to get there, but the most difficult as far as social interactions go. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, and then
I live in New
and
York,
then
Tim. I know.
right,
Yes.
right. And then athletically, it's or as a performer, it's getting that audience or that performance or that thing to do, and getting it just so that you get to that energy, that you get to that place, right?
Right.
So these are all tantric methods of communion,
Wow.
where you're talking to God, you're connected to God, because you are God, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way to God, but in a way that, like, God is saying, like, yep, this is what I am, and you're feeling it.
Yeah. Wow. So look, if you want to talk to God, we started from this is like really, we were talking virtual reality.
Talk about a loop, right?
Yes. If you want to talk to God, if you want to get closer, if you really want to experience this, work with Tim, the happy hypnotist. Emily, Emily's conduit. Lena is also learning too. So you know what I mean. Tim is training everybody. Both of these people who I've talked to today are. I'm very grateful I was able to talk to you both. I've learned a lot. I think people should seek you out if you want to have these transcendent experiences. And I definitely hope to have you both on again.
Thank you so much, Greg. It was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Lena. Appreciate it. Well, that's good that I live more than 50 years. I was kind of freaking out there. Also, the future. Are they suppressing knowledge in the future? Is that what you got from this episode? I definitely picked that up. Very awkward when I called her an alien, too. That was strange. I wish Tim gave me a little bit of like a heads up about the etiquette when talking to these interdimensional space beings. It would have been nice to know not to say alien. Like, I hope I didn't piss off Emily too much. But hey, that was a blast. Eat some candy. Don't have it be candy corn. Swallow some gummy worms and just like rot your teeth. It's 2020 Halloween. Things have been insane. I don't care how many cavities you get today. Make it a personal challenge. The cavity challenge. Make that the new TikTok trend. I hope you have a wonderful, hypnotic, and happy and safe Halloween. Take care.